Welcome back, everybody. So while we were in Pattaya, Thailand, we decided to take a day trip over to Koh Larn Island. Now, what is Koh Larn Island, you might ask? It's a small island right off the coast of Pattaya that has much prettier beaches, and it's a nice place to go if you're looking to get away from the hustle and bustle of the city. You can get to Koh Larn in a couple of different ways, the primary being either by ferry or by speedboat. You'll find both of these options at the Bali High Pier, but there are a few things you need to think about. So from the ferry, now it's less expensive, but it's much slower. The ride is a bit smoother though. Now, if you look at the speedboat, it's faster and more expensive, but it is a rough ride. It only takes about half an hour using the ferry, so I lean toward the ferry, but if you really want to get there as quick as possible, take the speedboat. Now, one thing to be very aware of is on both the trip there and back, I took the ferry and I saw at least 3, 4, 5 people all get really sick, even on what's considered to be a pretty smooth trip. So if you are at all sensitive to the waves, make sure you take something for that before you get on. Another thing that you need to plan for is where exactly you want to travel to when you go to the island. What I mean by that is that there are two different piers there. There's Naban Pier and Toan Pier. You can travel to either of them either way, so when you're going or coming, and you could even travel to one and then play around on the island and then exit on the other side if you wish, but you just need to make sure that you understand what the timetables look like, because if you're taking the ferry, it runs on a schedule, and if you're late, well, you might get left behind, and if you miss the last ferry, then you're stuck on the island for the night. We are at Koh Larn Island now, so we took the boat over. It took about half an hour, and we've made it here now. It's overcast, not super sunny, although it is humid and it's pretty warm. A lot of people are here. There were throngs of people on the boat. I mean, tourists, groups with the flags and everything, just lots and lots of people. But things have kind of dispersed out now, and we've got a little space to breathe. You can see the beach out here in front of us. We are on the back side of the island, and we're going to explore from here and end up hopefully on the front side of the island, where we'll take the boat back later this afternoon. So super excited to check this thing out. For us, we decided to first travel to Toan and then travel the island via motorcycle and then depart from Naban Pier. When we arrived, Toan has a lot of stuff going on, right? So there's a billion people trying to get you to rent a motorcycle or rent a golf cart, that kind of thing. And if you are going to do that, this is probably the best spot for it. When you rent a motorcycle or a golf cart, typically they're going to want to take some kind of ID from you as a deposit, something to hold on to. So they took my wife's ID and held on to that. So that's something you want to consider. It's a little off-putting to give that kind of documentation away to someone who's not official in any kind of capacity, just somebody renting out a motorcycle, but that's the way things are done, and we did it, and we didn't have any issues with that. So there's a lot of stuff you can do here on Koh Larn. Most people are out at the beach, but one thing we wanted to do was see the island, and there's no really better way to see the island than to rent a motorcycle and just drive around and check it out. Now, motorcycles might not be for everybody, but if you've ever ridden a bicycle, you can pretty much drive one of the twist and go motorcycles, right? And that's what I've got here. It's 300 baht. It's a $9 rental, and as long as you don't kill yourself or chop a leg off accidentally, you're going to be okay. But it's great. You hop on and you can feel the wind in your hair. If you have hair, I don't really have hair, but if you do, it's even better. And you get to see views like this that you wouldn't be able to see really otherwise, because you really need to be mobile to get around. The adventure continues, right? So we've been riding around the island, and these roads are tiny. I mean, look at this thing. It's got like 45-degree grades on it almost, and the brakes on this rental aren't exactly the best. So yeah, it's pretty scary. Anyway, we made it here, and there's a beach of some kind here, and there's a lot of people, a lot of boats. Although I can't imagine that they would come to the beach via this path. You know, I think we found some back way, but yeah, kind of fun, and it's cool cruising around the island. Using the motorcycles on the island really opened the island up to exploration, and without that, I think we really have just been stuck at the beach, and it wouldn't have been nearly as fun. So we got our motorcycles and we departed for Tawan Beach, and we didn't really have anywhere in mind to go. We just started driving. So we just had fun and drove around, kind of aimlessly seeing the sights. There are lots and lots of hills, so be ready for that. But around midday, we got hungry, and by this point, we had traveled across the island, and the width of the island is only about 2 kilometers, so it doesn't take long to get from one side to the other. And we found a nice little restaurant on the beach. You know, this wasn't anything that we had planned for. We just found it, parked, got out, and had a little bit of lunch, and it was very, very pleasant. All right, that brings us to the end of our Koh Larn trip while we were in Pattaya, Thailand. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you have, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you all in our next adventure.